of statics. In last two lectures, first lecture was covering the glimpses of your curriculum, what are the contents, which are the topics included in this curriculum of mechanics of solids. In last lecture, we had started the first chapter, which is fundamental of statics, in which we had gained introduction to force. What is force? What are the major types of force? Compression, tension, how it behaves, what is the effect of force, and few initial level, fundamental level concepts like transmissibility, coplanar forces, concurrent forces. યાદ છે જે હતા એમાંથી પૂછું એકાદને. કોપ્લાનર ફોર્સિસ મીન્સ જોરથી પ્લાનમાં પેલાને ગુજરાતી નથી ખબર પડતી. ये हिंदी में बोल रहा है अभी तो सुनना पड़े. दैट इज नॉट इम्पोर्टेंट. Once the class has started, class is important. Signature is not important. Or it is important and I shall give you 2 minutes, 5 minutes time कि जब सबका साइन हो जाए. ऐसा तो नहीं कर सकते. एक तो आप लेक्चर में नहीं थे, आप लोगों के लिए मैं रिवीजन कर रहा हूँ 5 मिनट में कि क्या लास्ट लेक्चर में क्या था, रिकॉल कर दे तो आगे का समझ में आए. I asked what one is coplanar forces, another is concurrent forces. I asked him what is coplanar forces. Answer.
Within one plane from different angles or different sides, different forces are coming.
In one plane there will be only one side. What is sides? Don't tell me what I have not explained. તમે લોકો હતા લેક્ચરમાં તો પણ તમે આવું કહો છો. ઇટ મીન્સ કે આઈ કેન ગેટ કે હું કહું છું ત્યારે સમજાય છે, પણ પછી એ વસ્તુ have you seen that game in which there are series of people sitting or standing each after another, and the first person will tell something in the ears of the next person, then it goes, and at the end of the chain the sentence is something different. Have you played that game or seen that game? नहीं देखा है? शादियों में वगैरह बहुत फेमस है ये गेम. पहला आदमी बोलेगा कुछ, फिर दूसरा आदमी, फिर तीसरा, एंड तक पहुंचते पहुंचते वो चीज बदल ही जाएगी. क्यों भाई? सब तो पढ़े लिखे हैं, सबके कान में प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, सबको बोलने में प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. देन व्हाई इट हैपेंस? द सेम रीजन जो अभी हो रहा है कि जो जब आप समझते हैं, सुनते हैं, तो आपको समझ में आ जाता है उस वक्त, बिकॉज आई एम रिपीटिंग मैनी टाइम्स. But when there is a gap, last lecture and today, it's around gap of 4 to 5 days. So in 4 to 5 days, you have not remembered that class, neither you have seen the video. And now you are recalling what you might have understood. That is the real understanding. अभी ये जो बोल रहा है, वो ही real understanding. वो ये क्लास में भी होगा. आज मैं अगर पूछूंगा जो आज चला है, वो आपको आएगा. सेम चीज नेक्स्ट क्लास में पूछूंगा, तब मुझे पता चलेगा कि वो कितना आपको समझ में आया. That is the reason attention is must in this kind of subjects. Coplanar forces.
All forces are in one plane.
Correct. This is the only explanation of coplanar forces. Forces lying in one plane or forces which are in one plane is coplanar. Sides ne બધું આવતું જ નથી. When we don't know the specific thing, we explain other things and try to justify कि हमको ऐसा ही पता था. જેમ કે આને કીધું કે આ શું છે, બગડેલું છે. કેમ? કારણ કે એને એ વખતે એક્ચ્યુઅલ સ્પેસિફિક શબ્દ યાદ નથી આવ્યો કે આ ગંદુ છે, કે મેલું છે, કે આની પર ડાઘા છે. એટલે એને એની રેન્જમાં જે શબ્દ નજીક હતો તે કહી દીધો, which doesn't explain what he is trying to say. Similar things happen with the concept, and not for explaining, for understanding. मैं पूछ रहा हूं और बोल रहे हैं गलत हो गया, उसके लिए मैं नहीं बोल रहा हूं. आप समझे ही ना गलत, इसलिए बोल रहा हूं. बिकॉज इन एग्जामिनेशन यू हैव टू राइट व्हाट यू हैव अंडरस्टूड. और ये सब्जेक्ट ऐसे नहीं है कि क्रैम करके चला जाएगा और रट्टा मार देंगे ये सब्जेक्ट डिफिकल्ट होगा. पास शायद हो भी जाए, आएगा नहीं. एंड आई एम नॉट टीचिंग फॉर पासिंग द सब्जेक्ट. वो मैं नहीं पढ़ाऊंगा, सेल्फ स्टडी में पूरा सब्जेक्ट आप निकाल लेंगे. मुझे पता है, मैं इसलिए नहीं पढ़ा रहा कि आप लोग पास हो जाए, पास तो होने ही वाला। ठीक, नेक्स्ट वाज कॉन्करेंट फोर्सेस। नहीं, પ્લેન की તો વાત ही नहीं आई। તો આ ચાર જ લોકો હતા, બીજું કોણ હતું આમાંથી પાછળ? તું હતો?
जो चार पांच कोर्सेज है वो सभी कोर्सेज एक पॉइंट पे परफॉर्मेंस में ज्वाइन
जॉइंट होते हो चलेगा, अंडरस्टैंडिंग है। यू आर मिसिंग द वोकेबुलरी। अनदर थिंग कम्स, घना એવું કે છે मुझे समझ में आता है लेकिन मैं समझा नहीं पा रहा हूँ। ऐसा सुना है आपने? आप लोग भी कई बार बोलते हैं, हाउ डज इट हैपन? You are 16, 17 or 18 years old, you understand something and you are not able to make it understand to other person, तो वो तो डिसेबिलिटी है। लेकिन हम बहुत आसानी से बोल देते हैं कि मैं समझता हूं लेकिन समझा नहीं पाता। तो क्यों? वो नहीं सोचा हमने। ऐसा क्यों? अगर मैं आपको पूछूं व्हाट इज 2 + 2, यू विल ऑल से 4, एंड इफ आई टेल यू एक्सप्लेन मी, यू आर एबल टू एक्सप्लेन ऑल्सो। वहां तो ऐसा नहीं होता कि सर समझता हूं लेकिन समझा नहीं पा रहा हूं। Why? Because you know the concept thoroughly. You know it very well. You can explain me 2 + 2 4 in many ways. Similarly, when you don't have clarity in your understanding, you feel that you have understood. And when you try to explain someone, तब आपको लिटमस टेस्ट होता है कि अरे इसके तो भेजे में जा ही नहीं रहा। उसका एक रीजन ये भी है कि आपके पास वोकेबुलरी नहीं। ફરીથી આનું આવે છે, આણે જે કીધું એ વોકેબ્યુલરીનો સવાલ છે। तो जॉइंट हो रहा है, वो शब्द मैंने लास्ट लेक्चर में यूज ही नहीं किया। कोइंसाइड्स, line of forces or line of action of forces, or for all the forces, if the line of action is coinciding at one point, it will be called concurrent. If line of action of forces is not coinciding at one point, it will call non-concurrent. Similarly, if all the forces are not in one plane, it will call non-coplanar. If they are in one plane, any plane, either this plane, this plane, this plane, any plane, they are called coplanar forces, right? So this was the thing which we have already understood in last lectures. Today, moving further, we will see how another thing was discussed was resultant force। सबको पता है, स्कूल में किया है रिजल्टेंट फोर्स, पता है रिजल्टेंट फोर्स? गलत है ये, मतलब नहीं पता। किसी भी दो मतलब दो फोर्स या सम नेट फोर्स किसी एक पर्टिकुलर डायरेक्शन में उसको इधर परिणामी फोर्स। परिणामी फोर्स is a translation of resultant force, that is true। लास्ट बेंच सेंटर, तू तो लास्ट लेक्चर ध्यान नતું એટલે યાદ છે રિઝલ્ટન્ટ ફોર્સ। જેટલા બી ફોર્સો લાગતા છે તેના સદિશોનો સરવાળો કરીએ તો એવું જે પરિણામી મળે। परफेक्ट है, જેટલા પણ फोर्स, जितने भी फोर्स लग रहे हैं, दो नहीं, सिर्फ दो ही फोर्स लग सकते हैं। फोर्स तो कितने सारे 25,000 भी लग सकते हैं एक पॉइंट पे। जितने भी फोर्स लग रहे हैं उनका वेक्टर समेशन, मतलब ऐसा नहीं कि एक फोर्स 2 किलोन्यूटन का है, दूसरा 5 किलोन्यूटन का है, तीसरा 3 किलोन्यूटन का, 2 + 5 + 3, दैट इज नॉट द रिजल्टेंट। रिजल्टेंट फोर्स इज, एक बार बोल देता हूं वापिस क्योंकि उसके ऊपर ही पूरा आज का लेक्चर जाने वाला है। रिजल्टेंट फोर्स इज दैट whatever the entire system of forces, say for example 5 force, 7 force, 8 force, 10 force, जितने भी फोर्स लग रहे हैं वो सब मिलके जो इफेक्ट प्रोड्यूस कर रहे हैं पॉइंट पे, वो सेम ही इफेक्ट एक सिंगल फोर्स कर सकता है। दैट फोर्स इज कॉल्ड, जैसे what would be the example of resultant force? मूवी में गुंडे को 3-4 लोग मार रहे हैं, आलतू फालतू मवाली लोग, हीरो के जो साथ में होते हैं वो गुंडे को मार रहे हैं, लेकिन वो पावरफुल है तो नहीं हो रहा है, फिर हीरो आता है, क्या करता है? उसको हम समझ सकते हैं कि रिजल्टेंट मैथमेटिकली नहीं होगा, लेकिन जस्ट फॉर अंडरस्टैंडिंग कि वो 5-7 लोग मिलके जो कर रहे थे वो अकेले नहीं निपटा दिया। इसी तरह जितने भी फोर्सेस एक पॉइंट पे या प्लेन में लग रहे हैं वो सब मिलके जो कर रहे हैं वो सेम चीज, it means that in intensity also, that is kilonewton, and in direction also, because force is a vector. So the single force doing same work of all those force is called a resultant force, right? To calculate resultant force there are methods which we will start learning today. How to calculate resultant force? Okay, so first is either you can calculate analytically or you can calculate. How to calculate graphically, that we will learn in the laboratory hours when we will actually perform this experiment of forces and calculating resultants. Analytically, which means using mathematics, we can use that. So for solving analytically, we have law of parallelogram, law of triangle, there was some other method also. Resolution of forces, ठीक है, कहीं नहीं लिख दो, resolution of forces. These three methods. These two can be only used if there are number of forces are two. If the number of forces are more than two, then this method. So now let us start. What is law of parallelogram? This you can write. Law of parallelogram of forces. First we will write the statement. Write down the statement of the law of parallelogram. If two forces acting simultaneously on a particle, if two forces acting simultaneously on a particle, which means that they are concurrent, right? Be presented particle, comma, be presented in magnitude and direction by the two adjacent sides of a parallelogram. પહેલેથી બોલો અહીં સુધી. If two forces acting simultaneously on a particle be represented in magnitude and direction by the two adjacent sides of a parallelogram, comma, the resultant may be represented as the resultant may be represented as by the diagonal of the parallelogram. Okay. सपोज ये कोई आदमी खड़ा है, उसके दो फ्रेंड हैं, एक फ्रेंड उसको ऐसे खींच रहा है, दूसरा फ्रेंड ऐसे खींच रहा है, एक ही पर्सन को, which means that these two forces are concurrent because their line of action is coinciding at this point. Any random, let us call it P and Q. So ये जो angle है, that is theta, right? So what the statement says that if two forces are acting simultaneously on a point, which means that these two forces are concurrent and coplanar. Two forces which are concurrent will always be coplanar. આપણે last time જોયું. So these two forces are acting at a point, making angle theta between them if they are represented in magnitude and direction as sides of parallelogram. તો આ એક ફોર્સ થયો P અને આ ફોર્સનો એંગલ છે થીટા. Right? So these two forces are represented as a sides of adjacent sides of a parallelogram. Parallelogram ખબર છે ને? શું છે? What is parallelogram નું ગુજરાતી? ચતુષ્કોણ. Right? So this is a parallelogram in which two adjacent sides are represented in magnitude, it means the length of the arrow, as well as direction, as same as these forces. Then the resultant is the diagonal of the parallelogram in intensity, that is magnitude, as well as very simple. Law of parallelogram, very simple. Any two forces, make one force and then same angle theta to the next force, make parallelogram, find out resultant. So this can be done graphical also. Suppose this force is 10 kilonewton, this force is 15 kilonewton. I take a paper, I decide my scale, 1 kilonewton is 1 centimeter, right? So on scale and on paper, what I will draw this as 5 centimeter in this direction. Then suppose angle is 35 degree, for example, or 40 degree. So I'll take the angle 40 degree and draw the line of, this is 10 centimeter, this will be 15 centimeter, right? I got 2 points, then I can draw the parallelogram, and with the scale, now I will draw the diagonal. Calculate the distance. Say for example, it might come around 18 or 20. Suppose 20. It means that this force is 20 kilonewton R, and direction is alpha, which also I can measure graphical method. That depends on your measurement equipment. कारण कि तुम्हें फुटपट्टी दी अगर स्केल से आप मेजर कर रहे हैं तो हो सकता है कि 1-2 mm का इधर उधर हो सकता है. Same thing we can calculate analytically also, because to solve this it's a simple trigonometry. What is the length of this diagonal and what is alpha? Simple trigonometry. Okay. So R is under root of P square plus Q square plus 2PQ. બધાને ખબર છે શું વાત કરો. તો આ તમે ભણી ગયા છો પહેલા શેમાં? એક સેકન્ડ 11 તો પછી પહેલા કોને હું શું કામ આમાં ટાઈમ બગાડું? If you have learned this, then tell me. We can move further. I am teaching you as if because when મને યાદ નથી કે મેં સ્કૂલમાં ભણ્યા હતા કે નતા ભણ્યા. So I feel that this is first time to you. નથી ને? ઓકે આલ્ફા આલ્ફાની વેલ્યુ યાદ છે? So we are not going into derivation of this simple trigonometry. If you want to know how this value has come, you know that this will become q sine theta. This will become p cos theta. This will become q cos theta. Right? So what is alpha? Is tan alpha is this upon this. So q sine theta divided by p plus q cos theta. Simple. So we are not going to derivation. Is it clear? So any force, any two forces are given, you can evaluate resultant easily, either using paper and scale or mathematics. Which one is easier? Which one is easier? बैग रख दो नीचे. तुम्हारा नाम मैं भूल गया. परनीत. आपको पता है परनीत बहुत अच्छा गिटार बजाता है. एनालिटिकल इजी है कि पेपर वाला इजी? यही इजी है. मैथमेटिक्स इज ऑलवेज इजी इफ यू नो. अगर आता है मैथमेटिक्स तो बहुत आसान है चीजें. बट ये मैथमेटिक्स तो बहुत ही आसान. जस्ट सिर्फ इक्वेशन याद रखना है. दैट्स इट. बिकॉज दिस विल गिव यू almost correct answer. Then this, it might include some errors. This will not include any errors. Clear? एकदम clear? कोई डाउट છે આમાં? નથી. Next is law of triangle. Law of triangle, law of parallelogram માં છુપાયેલો જ હતો. If you see, this was our parallelogram. This was Q. This was P. Now, if I draw this Q, if I don't draw this Q here, but I draw Q here, right? And this is my diagonal already. So this becomes law of triangle. It is nothing but same conceptually. Only the equation might change. Okay, write down law of triangle statement. If two concurrent forces represented in direction and magnitude by two sides of a triangle, the resultant may be represented as the third side of the triangle. Same thing, same persons, two forces are acting. Suppose now these forces are, one is acting in this direction, another is acting in this direction. This is P, this is Q, making angle theta. Same thing, concurrent forces, yes, they are concurrent. One is P having some intensity, another is Q having another intensity. So what the law says that first force, magnitude and direction, P. From this point only, adjacent sides, Q, right? So this is theta. Angle between two forces, theta. This is line of action of force. So the resultant will be nothing but the third side of the triangle. If this is theta, and this would be beta. So beta is nothing but 180 minus theta. So the equation of resultant, so this is P, this force is Q, this will be R. So the value of R, magnitude of R is nothing but P square plus Q square minus 2PQ sine beta. Sorry, cos beta. And alpha is sine inverse Q upon R sine beta. This also can be easily derived from using trigonometry from this, because this is beta. Shall we solve few examples of this? Law of triangle, law of parallelogram. The most like question from this chapter in exams also, કદાચ 3 માર્કમાં કે 4 માર્કમાં બે ડેફિનેશન એકાદ પ્રોબ્લેમ એવું આવે છે મોસ્ટલી. So important with reference to exam also. Write down example 1. Two tensile forces, two tensile forces, 50 kilonewton and 40 kilonewton are acting at a point with angle 60° between them. (60° between them). Calculate resultant force. 50 kilonewton and 40 kilonewton. So this means that the problem statement doesn't include a graphical representation. So from this text, you have to convert this text into image. So reading the text, you should know that in which direction P is given, in which direction the another force Q is given. If you are telling PQ, you can call any, right? So first force is 50 kilonewton. So let us take this as 50 kilonewton. Another is, so which is little smaller than this, and angle is, so if this is 90, 60 would be somewhere here. This is Q is equal to 40, right? So this diagram you should be able to draw when you are solving the problem, right? And the resultant would be R, which we have to find out. So, to the this is last, right? Problem statement. It takes only 1 minute for us to solve this problem. Calculate. R is equal to underscore of 50 square plus 40 square plus 2 into 50 40 cos 60. आंसर क्या हुआ? वाह, भूल ही गया. ओके, cos 60 બસ આટલા જ જણને ખબર છે? તો કેમ ધીરે અવાજે બોલો છો? હું એવું થોડું પૂછું છું કાલે ચોરી કોણે કરેલી? cos 60 તો બુલંદ અવાજ આવવું જોઈએ ને, 1/2. ચાલો ફટાફટ આન્સર. કેલ્ક્યુલેટર છે? વાહ, નેક્સ્ટ ક્લાસથી આ ક્લાસમાં કેલ્ક્યુલેટર જોઈશે, કારણ કે પ્રોબ્લેમ સોલ્વ કરવાના છે. કરો જાતે વિધાઉટ કેલ્ક્યુલેટર. પાંચ ચોક 20, 4 ચોક 16 બરાબર છે. પાછું પાછું 25 બરાબર. તો બુકમાં કેમ આવું? હા, 5 ચોક 20, હા 2000, રાઈટ. એટલે આ ખોટું છે. 6100 થશે. Square root of 6100 is answer. આવ્યો બધાને આન્સર? આવી ગયો? લખી દીધો? આવવાની ખુશી જેટલી બધી છે કે લખવાનું રહી ગયું. આવા પ્રોબ્લેમ નહીં આવે એક્ઝામમાં. આ તો વેરી ફર્સ્ટ એટલે હું તમને બતાવું છું. Never forget to write unit. Unit is just as your surname. તારું નામ શું? તું એકલો જ શુભમ છે? ક્લાસમાં નહીં, દુનિયામાં કેટલા બધા છે? તો આઈડેન્ટિફાય શુભમ certainly requires the next nomenclature which is the surname. કદાચ એનું સરનેમ શું તારી? શુભમ પટેલે કેટલા બધા છે? તો પાછું અંદર વચ્ચે આવે છે બીજું પપ્પાનું નામ શું છે? તો શુભમ કે પટેલ, તે પણ કેટલા બધા હશે? પાછું શુભમ કેતનભાઈ પટેલ, તે અમુક ઓછા મળે. તેમાં પાછું જોવું પડે કે હવે એડ્રેસ કયું, ડેટ ઓફ બર્થ કઈ, એમ કરતા કરતા તમે એકચ્યુઅલ આને જ આઈડેન્ટિફાય કરી શકો. Similarly, force bhi, because it is a vector, it has a magnitude and direction. So whenever you are writing force, whenever you are writing about force, this is just magnitude. If I don't write kilonewton, this has no value. જેમ કે હું આને પૂછું તારી હાઈટ કેટલી, અત્યારે જ થયું, એને કીધું 5.5, શું પણ ઇંચ, ફૂટ, મીટર, લાઇટ યર કેટલી, બધા લેન્થના યુનિટ્સ છે. એનો મતલબ કે યુનિટ ઇઝ ઇક્વલી ઇમ્પોર્ટન્ટ એઝ મેગ્નિટ્યુડ, બીકોઝ યુનિટ ચેન્જ ધ થિંગ વિલ ચેન્જ. 5.5 મીટર અલગ છે અને 5.5 ફૂટ અલગ છે. 5.5 ફૂટ એટલે કેટલા? ઓલમોસ્ટ 164 સેન્ટીમીટર, અથવા તો 5 ફૂટ અને 5 ફૂટ, 5.5 फुट इज 5 फुट 6 इंच. बिकॉज हमको पता है कि 1 फुट में 12 इंच है, तो जो 0.5 है वो 12 का आता है. सी, सो बिकॉज ऑफ द यूनिट all these things has occurred. There are very few properties which are unitless. તમને ખબર છે એવી કોઈ જે યુનિટલેસ છે? તમે અત્યાર સુધી ભણ્યા હો એટલે આપણે તો ઘણી આવશે આગળ. તમે ભણ્યા હો એ ક્વોન્ટિટીમાં કોઈ યુનિટલેસ ક્વોન્ટિટી આવી છે? ઓકે, ટ્રેન ભણ્યા છો બધા? વેરી ગુડ. આપણા માટે સૌથી ઇમ્પોર્ટન્ટ યુનિટલેસ ક્વોન્ટિટી છે સ્ટ્રેન. આવશે ત્યારે we will go in detail. Okay, so this answer is correct, 78.1 kilonewton. And what will be the angle it will make with reference to force P, that is we are calling alpha, which is tan inverse 40 cos 60 divided by 50 plus sin 60 divided by 40 cos 60. sin 60 કેટલું? So root 3 into 20, 50 plus 20, 70. Tan inverse root 3 is 1.71. આ બરાબર આવે છે આશરે? જુઓ તો મારી પાસે કેલ્ક્યુલેટર નથી. sin 60 is 1 by 2, root 3 by 2. So root 3 by 2, 2 into 20, 20 into root 3, 34.2 ને આન્સર. ઓલમોસ્ટ 0.5 ની નજીક આવવું જોઈએ, કારણ કે 35 દુ 70 0.491. So alpha is, this is in radian. ये जो वैल्यू आएगा आप मुझे बताइए डिग्री में कन्वर्ट करके. 26 point something, 26.15 degrees. Easy. તારું નામ શું? તુષાર. આવડે કે કન્ફ્યુઝન છે? કંઈ કરી લો એકવાર. જે પણ આમાં ડાઉટ હોય, ના જ હોવો જોઈએ, પણ બાય ચાન્સ અગર કોઈ डाउट रह गया है तो मुझे पूछ लो, क्योंकि ऐसे प्रॉब्लम तो नहीं आएंगे कहीं भी. तो अगर इसमें ही डाउट है तो फिर आगे बढ़ना मुश्किल हो जाएगा. Simplest of the problems of the MOS subject. Simplest. I would even not ask in 1 mark. बिकॉज ये तो स्कूल लेवल का प्रॉब्लम है, ये तो सब आप कर चुके हैं. नो डाउट. क्विकली वी विल डू अनदर प्रॉब्लम एंड देन विल स्टॉप. थोड़ा डिफिकल्ट लेना पड़ेगा. वाह, लव डिफिकल्ट. એટલું ડિફિકલ્ટ નથી. વાહ, ચાલો. Find. I consider that you people are capable of doing these things because as you have done in these topics in school. Let us take little difficult problem. Find the magnitude of two forces such. Okay, एक सेकंड. लगता पहला यहाँ ध्यान आपी दो. मैं equation I have cleared it, but so any problem of law of parallelogram of forces, any problem includes what? P, Q, theta, alpha, 4 quantities. It means that any other problem, suppose P and Q is given, theta is given, you can calculate R and alpha. Suppose alpha is given, R is given, theta is given, P is given, you can calculate Q. It means that all the problems will be moving around these 4 to 5 parameters, which is P, Q, theta, alpha, R. So some data would be given and the rest of the data has to be calculated in any problem of law of parallelogram of forces, because law of parallelogram of forces only includes P, Q, theta, R and alpha. Clear? So in any problem, either these 3 would be given and these 2 are asked, or anything. This is given, theta is not given, calculate theta. You can do that. Mathematical equation, only 2-3 equations, you know that. Right? Okay, write down this problem. Find the magnitude of two forces such that if they act at right angle, their resultant is root 40. तो थोड़ी लखवान स्पीड वगैरह. The resultant is root 40, root square root of 40. But if they act at 60 degree, the resultant is root 52 kilonewton. Root 52. So okay, just reading the question, વાંચી લો એકવાર, and explain to me how we will be able to find the solution. Calculate કર્યા વગર જ कोई एक कौन बताएगा what is given and what is to be found out. ना, 5 statement. So first is to identify what data is already given. There are 2 cases of P and Q. In both cases, value of P and Q is standard, which is not changing. What is changing is their direction, right? It means that P and Q are not changing. What is changing? So 2 thetas are given. Similarly, 2 R's are given. Correct? એનો મતલબ કે using this condition, you will get some equation in terms of PQ. Using this condition, you will again get some equation in terms of PQ and equate those two equations. You will get values of P and Q, two equation, two unknown. Will we start? So what is the case one? Case one is two forces are at right angle. This is 90 degree. When the resultant is root 40. Any resultant. Here, next is angle is 60 degree. P and Q, and resultant is root 52. So in this case, R is equal to under root of P square plus Q square plus 2PQ cos theta implies R is root 40. If we make it square, it becomes 40 equals to P square plus Q square plus cos 90 cos 90. So 40 equals to P square plus Q square. Second case, 52 equals to P square plus Q square plus 2PQ cos theta. Cos 60 is 1 by 2. So plus PQ. This is one equation. This is another equation. Now what? So from here, P square plus Q square is 40, which we can put in this equation, which will give us 52 equals to 40 plus PQ. It means that PQ is 12. આ બીજું એક ઇક્વેશન મળ્યું. પછી બીજું ઇક્વેશન શું મળે છે? આમાંથી P is equal to 12 by Q કરો. અહીંયા મૂકો. You will get the values. હું કરતો નહીં, તમે કરી દો જાતે. Hi. This is what? Listen, પછી કરજો. અરે ના પાડો બોલવાનું, પછી બોલ્યા કરો. મને ક્યાં કીધું એમ? તમારે દરેકને છૂટું કહેવાનું. આ તમે જાતે કરજો, અત્યારે નથી કરવાનું. Prepare yourself for next class. What I want to explain is, you can see looking to these things at up to this point only you were using concepts of mechanics of solid, which is law of parallelogram. After the next step, the problem becomes mathematics, which we all already know. If you are good at mathematics, you will get fast answers, correct answers. If you are poor at mathematics, you might get wrong answers and your time is also wasted. Prepare yourself accordingly. I don't need to solve this equation. From these two equations, you can easily solve value of P and Q. Let me give you the answer. P comes out to be 6 kilonewton. So P comes out to be 6 kilonewton and Q comes out to be 2 kilonewton. To watch statement. કેમ શું લખ્યું છે? ફાઇન્ડ વાંચ ને મોરથી વાંચ.
Find the magnitude of two forces such that they act right angle. Their resultant hits.
તો રાઈટ એંગલ એટલે કેટલું? વોકેબ્યુલરી. So right angle is 90. Right angle triangle એટલે શું? This is right angle triangle in which one angle is 90. Right angle is 90. એનો મતલબ કે બે ફોર્સ ની વચ્ચેનો એંગલ કયો છે? They are right angle. It means that the theta is 90. અમે સ્કૂલમાં હતા ત્યારે તો બધી જ બુક બુક્સમાં બ્રેકેટમાં ઇંગ્લિશમાં પણ લખેલું જ હતું, તમારામાં નથી નીકળી ગયું છે કે ધ્યાન નથી આપ્યું? લખેલું નહીં કાટખૂણો એટલે રાઈટ એંગલ, તો અમને કેવી રીતે ખબર હતી ત્યારે? ઇવન વિધાઉટ ફોન્સ એન્ડ ઇન્ટરનેટ એન્ડ એઆઈ ને એનીથિંગ અમને નહીં ખબર હોય, કદાચ કોલેજમાં જ ખબર પડી હશે. કઈ નહીં, હવે ના ભૂલતો. ઓકે, ડન ફોર ટુડે. સી યુ નેક્સ્ટ ક્લાસ ટુમોરો. ક્લાસ કાલે જ છે ને હવે?